Hello, everyone, and welcome once again. I'm back. I'm finally back. I've been out of here for about a month, okay? But I've been deep in the trenches for fantasy football. I've been deep in the trenches for fantasy football. For no reason, it's what you see here. My championship trophy is what you see here. I'm trying to get you one of these. I'm trying to get you one of these by the end of the fantasy football season to make sure that you get into the playoffs. Anything can happen. Don't make a difference what your record is. But the bottom line, the finishing touch is to get you one of these right there. Fantasy football championship or trophy, any kind of reward that you get for winning the championship. Okay? I am JT, aka the Master, and I'm bringing you For No Reason, as you see up there. Okay? Down and dirty. Just the facts. Today, we're talking about quarterbacks. Yep, quarterbacks. Now, we watched some quarterbacks for the last couple of days. Okay? Friday, Saturday. And I'm going to say this right now, and people are going to say, well, what the hell are you talking about? Well, we saw a bunch of rookies quarterbacks play. Okay? Number one pick. I think the number 6, 10, or whatever it was, Jackson Dart. And we also saw a supposedly, and this is probably going to be the last time I mention this, supposedly a 5th round pick 144 in Shedeur Sanders. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, huge Cleveland Browns fan, people. He showed up and showed out. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this. Okay? Shedeur, you had a nice game for 3 quarters. But don't get too big-headed. Do not get too big-headed and think you're above, because you're coming up against the world champs defense with a hell of a defense. Okay? I don't know how much playing time you're going to get, but you have earned more playing time, especially with the ones. Okay? Okay? So I'm just saying, we'll wait and see what happens. But it's important, okay, to get reps so you can get used to the speed of the game. Today, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you, I gave this last time, but I'm going to expand it a little bit. Strength of schedule, the hardest and the easiest for the 10 teams that have the hardest and the easiest schedule. But then I'm going to go a little deeper because I'm talking about quarterbacks. And I'm going to show you quarterbacks' strength of schedule for the specific quarterback that I'm going to talk about. 24 quarterbacks, 1 to 24. Okay? And I'm going to say that there's going to be some surprises in here. There will be some surprises. And I'll even state this on this show. And I know some people up on my fantasy football league may not pay attention to it, which is fine. But you see this championship here? I didn't get this championship with the top 5 rated quarterbacks last year. Okay? I didn't get this championship Just understand what I'm saying. I did not get this championship with the 5 top quarterbacks that were ranked last year. I waited. It's key. It's important to tell you this. You can wait on quarterbacks. I don't care if it's a 2 quarterback league or a 1 quarterback league. You can wait on quarterbacks because there's some quarterbacks, and you'll see when I go up the list from 24 to 1 that have a really good schedule that a lot of people are going to probably dismiss, thinking the team's going to be bad, but the quarterback, straight the schedule for the quarterback could be, and we're going to go into the star system. 1 being the worst situation, 5 being the absolute best situation. And there are quarterbacks that don't have 1s, but they have 2s that are named quarterbacks, and there's other named quarterbacks that people pretty much may dismiss that have a 5-star rating. And guess who's going to go after that? You're listening to them. You're listening to them. Because numbers don't lie. I've always said this. People heard me say it before. Pay attention to the numbers. Don't pay attention to the name. They may coincide at times, but you got to pay attention to the numbers. The numbers do not lie, people. They do not lie. Okay? And I can tell you right now, there's a few quarterbacks that I'm going to go after. I may get them. Some other people may grab them ahead of me, which is fine. But I'm going to look for these guys because, in my opinion, most people, because of the team, is going to dismiss them. I'm not. I'm not that type of guy. I take risks. You see this? Be legendary. Be legendary. That's how I feel. You got to put in the work, people, in order to get the results that you want. You got to put in the work in order to get the results that you want. I wanted this trophy in the worst way, just to prove some people wrong. Just like Shedeur Sanders wanted this trophy in the worst way, just to prove some people wrong. And if you listen to me over the years, I've said this over the years, don't make a difference. It doesn't matter what your record is. Don't matter what your record is. Just get into the playoffs and see what happens. Just get into the playoffs and see, and absolutely see what happens. I got into the playoffs with the 500 win record. Okay? Dismissed by a few people in this league, neighborhood. Dismissed in this league and neighborhood. Played the 5th seed, the 2nd seed, and the 1st seed, and won with a 500 record. Okay? And a dismissal by most people in the league that I didn't have a chance. You never know. You get into the playoffs, and that's a whole different game. Whole different game. I want to get you one of these. This is a very nice trophy. If your league gives out trophies, you can display it for a whole season until next season, and hopefully you're in the playoffs and win this again. Be legendary. That's what I'm talking about. Be legendary. Okay? But you got to put in the work. It just doesn't come. I'm going to help you. Each and every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be here with this week is quarterbacks. And next week is tight ends. The following week is wide receivers. And before the fantasy football draft, at the end of the month, running backs. And baby, I got some good information to put out to you for each one of the positions, starting with the quarterbacks. Okay. Let me just do this. The last time I was on this show. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? Wow. The last time I was on the show, people, let's just do this. Hold on. I just had something go wrong on my computer. There we go. Last time I was on the show, I showed you who had the hardest schedule. I showed you last 2024 offenses. Apologize for that. 2024 offenses. Okay. Who were the top 10? Detroit had the top. Then was Buffalo, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. That's Baker Mayfield. Washington, Jaden Daniels. 6, Jalen Hurts. 7, Jordan Love, Cincinnati, and Minnesota. All right. Then I had the projected as I see it, top offenses for this season would be Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Washington, Detroit, Denver, Philly, Green Bay, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. Sound familiar? Some of those teams were from the previous year, 2024. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the strength of schedule. I said this all last time I was on the air, but I'm just progressing into what I want to get to in the quarterbacks. Then we're going to go to the strength of schedule for 2025. Okay. This is the hardest schedule. Okay. The Giants have the worst, followed by the Bears, Lions, the Eagles, Cowboys, Green Bay, Minnesota, Washington, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Top 10. I'll just give you the top 10. The easiest schedule for 2025. Buffalo, Jaguars, Indianapolis, the Jets, Arizona, Carolina, Tennessee, New England, the Saints, and the team with the absolutely easiest schedule is the San Francisco 49ers. Okay? Now let's go into the quarterbacks. Okay? And the strength of schedule in the quarterbacks, which is important. Okay? The top one is this. Hold on. Let me just do this. Okay, let me show you this. I didn't scroll this. I want you to see it. I want you to study it. Okay? I made a trade in the league that I'm in, that I won a championship in. A keeper league. I traded Michael Penix. Okay, because they picked him up late last season. And Drake London, his wide receiver. Okay, this is a 2-quarterback league, which is fine. Okay. Penix was my bottom pick. I have 22 picks in this league. He was my 22 because I picked him up on waivers late. Okay. Drake London was a 5th-round pick with the person I traded with, which is fine. Okay. I value their position more than they value the quarterback. My opinion. There's so many quarterbacks out there. You can grab a quarterback or quarterbacks, since it's a 2-quarterback league. Late. You can wait on quarterbacks, in my opinion. Some people decide to pick quarterbacks early to gain that advantage on the rest of the league. They decide to go and pick quarterbacks early, which is fine. Everybody has their own philosophy. My philosophy is, and this helped me win this, is to take quarterbacks late. I'll take scraps, or what people consider scraps. Okay? I even tell you what quarterbacks I'm going to target. Okay? I even tell you, even though my league mates may listen to this, I'm even going to tell you what quarterbacks I'm going to target. Because I'm going to pick a quarterback late. But that quarterback is going to have ideal situations every week. Remember, I told you earlier in this. 1 is the absolute worst situation, strength of schedule. 5 is 5. Be legendary is absolute best. The absolute best. Okay? Now, there are quarterbacks on my list that are 5. And a lot of people are not going to take them early in drafts. They're not going to take them early, which is fine. That's great for me because I don't take quarterbacks. I've learned my lesson. Let me put it this way. I'm in two quarterback leagues. And what I found is don't go after the quarterback just like everybody else early. Wait. You wait. Quarterback's one position. You got multiple positions that to worry about. Running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Quarterback and tight end are one positions. Now, this week I'm talking about quarterbacks. Next week I'm going to be talking about tight ends. The following week I'm going to be talking about wide receivers. And like I said, the end of the month, which is close to the beginning of the season, and a lot of people are drafting the last weekend of August, I'm going to be talking about running backs. Okay? Be talking about running backs. So in this list, you see it, Michael Penix Jr. at 3 stars. He's got an average. This is average, okay? This is average strength of schedule for this quarterback. Showed a lot last season. I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Okay. So, okay. A lot of people are pumped up with this offense and with Michael Penix, which is fine. Everybody got their own opinion. Okay. I have him at number 24 because I think he's going to be one of the top 24 quarterbacks. Okay. And a lot of people think the same way, which is fine. I'm not disparaging anybody who wants Michael Penix Jr. Not at all. Not at all. Everybody's got their own philosophy. Everybody's got their own look on what they want their fantasy football roster to look at. I'm giving you options. I'm giving you what I'm seeing here as you can take advantage of it or you can dismiss it. But this is what I'm going to be looking at. Pay attention to the numbers. Don't pay attention to the name. Numbers make a difference. The name, okay. Sometimes the name coincides with the numbers. Sometimes it doesn't. You got to look at what actual numbers the name is putting up. A lot of people have high hopes for Michael Penix. That's fine. That's fine. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Okay. Number 23. As you can see here, Bryce Young. I have high expectations for Bryce Young. I think he showed a lot of growth the latter part of the season when he played. Okay. He showed a lot of growth. And I expect him 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions he had last season. And he had threw for 20, a little more than 2,400 yards. Okay. He got benched for a little bit, and then he came back and he played well. Played well. Okay. And expect him to build on that. This is maybe one of the quarterbacks that you want to target. Hey, his strength of schedule is 28th. Okay. 31st is being the best. 32 is being the best. Not the worst, the best. So 32, which is the San Francisco 49ers, have the easiest strength of schedule. Okay. And Bryce Young has an average strength of schedule, which is 28th in fantasy football right now. It can change, but right now he's got an advantage in Bryce Young being there. He may be somebody you want to target. Okay. He may be somebody you want to target. Now, this is one of my favorite quarterbacks coming up here. Number 22. I know he's dealing with a back issue. I know it's a serious back issue, a disc, and epidurals are not a good thing. Epidurals are not a good thing, okay? And his value is probably going to suffer from it. But this is another guy. He's got a 3-star, which is average. He was quarterback 19 last season, and they got him ranked as quarterback 22 this season. Okay. That's fine. Jordan Love, Jared Goff, I think they were down there. Maybe not 22, but they were down there. That's who I had last season. That's who they were my ride or die quarterbacks last season. I waited until I got, and I targeted both of them. I told many people I love Jordan Love, and some people told me, no. Jordan Love was a very good quarterback. Jared Goff was an outstanding quarterback. And as you saw, when I showed you the strength of the schedule, I show you the projection and the results of last season in the scoring, Jared Goff was a baller. Okay? Was a baller. Absolute baller. And I got Matthew Stafford. And a lot of people know I love Matthew Stafford. Hard-nosed, even though people don't see him as a hard-nosed quarterback. Plays with pain. Plays with pain. And number 21, some people don't like Miami at all. Okay? On this show, I don't name names. I could care less. I'll just say some people. Because some people don't like the Miami Dolphins and what they're capable of. But as you can see, Tua has one of the most favorable schedules for a quarterback this season. Understand that. Tua has to stay healthy. Understand that Tua has to stay healthy, but he's got the absolute one of the best strength of schedules. And his weapons aren't that bad. Jaden Waller. Tyreek Hill. And just talk about Tyreek Hill being traded. Okay. And who's that going to benefit? We'll talk about that when we get to wide receivers in a couple of weeks. Okay. Who's that going to benefit? Tua, I'm targeting. I'm going to be looking at Tua. Okay? Most people consider him an afterthought. I don't. I'm gonna follow the same philosophy I followed last year and target quarterbacks late. It says fantasy football champion neighborhood street football, 2024. Be legendary. Be legendary. Put the work in. Put the work in. I've been doing this for too long and trying to help people. I'm trying to help you. Regardless of what you may think of me or whatever, I'm trying to help people get into the playoffs because anything can happen. I've said this over 10 years or at least close to 20 years. Anything can happen. If you get into the playoffs, I've been on both ends of the spectrum, having the worst record and the best record. Thinking, okay, I got the best record or I got a really good record. I'm going to go a long way. Well, the regular season and playoffs are two different things, okay? And you got to plan for that. I'm targeting Tua Tagovailoa. I tell you that right now. At number 20 is J.J. McCarthy for the Minnesota Vikings. People, I'm telling you this. And you've listened to me before. I love the Minnesota Vikings offense. I've been saying it for 3 or 4 years now. I still love it. That head coach knows how to get the best out of the quarterback position and out of the offense that he runs. That's why you see on top offenses of the Minnesota Vikings consistently. And he was taking AI reps, studying and looking and saying, Patrick Mahomes, just think about this, people. J.J. McCarthy was a rookie last season. Did not play at all, not one snap in a professional game, regular season game, or didn't even play in the playoffs, quite naturally. Pat Mahomes, and I'm not comparing them. I'm comparing the situation. Pat Mahomes, I think, played one game, maybe 1 or 2 or half a game or whatever in his rookie season. Okay? And in the following season, in his sophomore season, he balled out. In that offensive scheme of Andy Reid's. Look at J.J. McCarthy and who he has there. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason in the backfield. One of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in fantasy and in real-life football. In J.J. and Justin Jefferson. T.J. Hawkinson. Jordan Addison. Come on, man. Really? And a very good offensive line, and the defense is no joke. Going to put them in more situations to get big points. J.J. McCarthy, people. He's got a 2-star rating. I know it's 2, and it's below average. But he can make up for it with the type of players that he has on his roster to support him. Okay? This may be somebody you want to target. Because even though he's got a 2 in the strength of schedule for a quarterback position, look at the weapons that he has. I just named them. I'm not going to name them again. I just named them. Be legendary. And wait. Be patient. It's going to come to you. Be patient. All right, my next one, number 19, had a down year last year. expect a bounce back because they improved the offensive line. The defense is solid because the defensive-minded coach. Okay? He had a lot of expectations last season, and quite naturally, there was a lot of injuries and a battered offensive line and exposed the limits of his fantasy ceiling. But I agree that C.J. Stroud should rebound from this. I don't have the stars there, and that's my mistake. But he's a three-star, which is average, three-star quarterback. I missed Stroud and Lawrence. I can see that. And my apologies. But I'll tell you what they are, okay? My next one is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Okay, I know some people call him Sunshine or whatever. That's okay. He's got a new offensive coordinator, and look what he did with Baker Mayfield. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Pay attention to the coach, head coach, and the offensive coordinator. In this instance, the head coach is the offensive coordinator, and that I expect Trevor Lawrence to benefit from. He did it with Baker Mayfield 2 seasons in a row. He did it with Baker Mayfield. People that have touted Baker Mayfield, and I haven't up until he's been in Tampa Bay, are reaping the rewards of being loyal, which is fine. Okay? Like I said, everybody has their opinion. Pay attention to the numbers, not the name. Okay? Baker Mayfield made several trips to teams, okay, until he found a home in Tampa Bay with the right situation, with the right philosophy, and coaches that'll get the best out of Baker. That's what happened. Total transparency. That's what happened. He didn't just become a flash in the pan and have 1 or 2 games that he played well. He played the whole season, 2 seasons now. That he was one of the top quarterbacks. Okay? So Baker Mayfield is Trevor Lawrence is my quarterback 18 with a 3-star rating. Okay? And let's go to the next quarterback in line here, which is Jordan Love. And I was in love, and I made it public. I was in love with Jordan Love last year. And he played very well. It was one of the youngest teams in the NFL, especially in the wide receiver position. And they added another wide receiver. Get this. Newsflash. Not Minnesota. Green Bay drafted a wide receiver in the first round. They haven't done that in a long time to add to that wide receiver room. And if they added a wide receiver in the first round, they must think a hell of a lot of him, meaning that is he their wide receiver 1? Is Jordan Love and that young wide receivers getting another season under the belt with Jordan Love? Is Jordan Love, he had the 2-star. Okay, that's below average. That means he's got a relatively tough schedule. There's no quarterback in this list that has a 1. Every quarterback has at least a 2, and some of them have a 5. I already named one that has a 5. Let me get to the other ones. Okay? Let me get to the other ones. All right? And one of my favorite quarterbacks with a high-powered offense, with one of the toughest schedules for this season, is Jared Goff. You see it there, number 16. He's got a 2-star. and the team as a whole has one of the toughest schedules in the league. They have the third toughest schedule, strength of schedule. Not Jared Goff. The team has the third toughest schedule in the league. The average win percentage of the teams they have to play is 57%, or 571. So the win percentage is more than 500 of the teams they had to play from last year. Okay? The defenses. So, but it's the Detroit Lions who score a lot of points, who have a leader at the helm, plus Amon-Ra St. Brown, plus Sam Laporta, plus David Montgomery, and last but not least, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. Okay? They have weapons. And Jared Goff spreads the ball around to take advantage of having all those weapons. Okay? So he's got it too. But this is probably another one of those exceptions. Being able to take advantage of having a strong offense, even though his strength of schedule overall is a not the best. Okay, let's move on to a second-year player. As you see at number 15, just like Tua Tagovailoa, a lot of people are expecting the Patriots to take a huge leap. Okay, and Drake May played relatively well last year, even with the limited weapons that he has. They improved some weapons on that team. Stephon Diggs and Travion Henderson, to name a few. Drafted Kyron Williams, wide receiver. So they improved their weaponry and worked on the offensive line. Grable is a defensive-minded coach. New England had a decent defense. Expect an improvement in that defense also. Drake May is a 5-star strength of schedule. You may want to, in a quarterback league, you may want to think about drafting Drake May. I said, wait. And even in one quarterback league, I know some people will say, no, hell no. I'm not making Drake May my number one quarterback. I may think about it. It's a deep thought for me. For the simple fact he's got one of the easiest schedules for a quarterback. And his bye week 14? Really? Tua Tagovailoa's bye week is 12. And both of them have a 5-star rating in their strength of schedule. So you can ride them till 12, Tua, or 14, Drake May. Okay? I'm just saying, you always got to take chances. You always got to believe that, okay, he's got that shot. Let's see if it pans out. If it don't pan out, switch quarterbacks. But he's got injuries may come. Switch quarterbacks. Drake May, just think about that. Pay attention to the numbers. I'm giving you numbers here. 5-star. He's got one of the most advantageous strength of schedules for a quarterback. Okay? A lot of people are going to take Pat Mahomes, Justin, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Okay. Everybody's got their own opinion. I take my quarterback late. I take him later than most. You see that? I take him later than most. I'm very proud of that trophy. I know I've been saying that ad nauseum. I'm very proud of that trophy. I had a philosophy going into the 2024 season and I stayed to it, regardless of what was said to me or what was said about me. Regardless, you got to have uh, a plan. Okay, I know everybody's got a plan until they get hit. Okay, I got hit a few times. I still stuck with my plan. If it didn't work out, fine. If it worked out, fine. Fine. All right? Just listen. If you ever have a chance to listen to Chris Bosh talk about Kobe Bryant, you go to that YouTube, Chris Bosh about Kobe Bryant. And legends aren't made. I'm going to just paraphrase this because I don't know if I'm going to get it right, but I'm going to try to. Legends aren't made by the successes. They're made by what they do when they fail. You heard, if not, Denzel Washington said, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Keep failing, keep getting up. Keep failing, keep getting up. Don't stop. Don't give up. Keep getting up. Okay? Always believe that. Let me go to number 14. And let me stop this. Hold on. Let me stop this because I want you to see it. I don't want to scroll and you miss anything. This is 14. And this is probably, I'm looking at the from 14 into 1. And oh, that's the wrong one. There it is. I'm sorry. I got Caleb Williams at number 14. Okay. At number 2. I'm not a big Caleb Williams fan. Okay. And most people are going to tell me, well, why are you having number 2? Well, the offensive coordinator, head coach, got the best out of Jared Goff, improved the offensive line. The defense wasn't that bad. Added some offensive weapons. And I expect Caleb Williams to take a not a big jump, but a decent jump. Be more consistent. Let me put it that way. Be more consistent. And for that offensive coordinator / head coach to put him in a favorable position. That's what I expect. Because he was inconsistent last season. And I expect him to and I expect let me put it this way, early bumps in the road and to get better as the season progresses. So I have him at number 14, okay, right now with a 2-star. Okay, so he's got a tougher road because they have the second hardest schedule in the NFL. As you can see here, they have the Bears have the second hardest schedule in the NFL. That's the easiest. That's the hardest. Let me do this. Stop the scroll, save this, and do this. They have the second hardest schedule in the NFL. Okay? With a new offensive coordinator and a second-year quarterback learning the system. But I'm optimism that he's going to do better. And number 13, run-heavy offense. He's got a number 3 rating, average. Okay? They're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to take their shots with – now they have Keenan Allen back. They have Trey Harris, Ladd McConkey, and company, along with their running backs, and whenever Najee Harris comes back, along with Omari and Hampton. And we'll talk about Omari and Hampton when we go into the running backs at the end of the month. But Justin Herbert, ever since he came to the league, he's been hyped up. Some years he's lived up to expectations. Some years he hasn't. He's got a decent, not optimum, but he's got a decent schedule in front of him. Not optimum. He's got a decent schedule in front of him. Most experts point to the Chargers' conservative run-focused scheme under Greg Roman and a notably slow offensive tempo as a limit on Justin Herbert. Now, like I said, the weapons shouldn't be an issue, but a run-heavy approach and a sluggish offensive pace will likely keep Herbert from being anything more than an average fantasy quarterback. I have him at number 13, okay? Outside the top 12. Quite naturally outside the top 10. And he's got a supporting cast that he can do a little more damage than he did. But I have Justin Herbert at number 13. At number 12, the Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and Jalen Tolbert. Now, he has a lot of weapons at his disposal to excel in the Dallas passing-friendly offense. Last year, between week 1 and 8, Dallas ranked 8th in neutral passing rate and 10th in passing rate over expectations. Last year, Prescott's passing touchdown rate dipped to 3.8%, which was the first time since 2020 that his passing touchdown rate had dipped below 5.8%. Prescott will throw for more touchdowns this season. He's going to throw for more touchdowns this season. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson. Come on, man. Come on. And he's outside the top. He's outside the top 10. But he's 12. With a 2. And I know some people are going to look at the next one, at number 11, and say, well, you got him 11? You got him over Dak Prescott? Yep. Not only does he run, which he's an extremely effective runner, but he can pass the football, and he's with a teammate that he used to play with in college, Justin Fields. They're going to make that offense click. Jets have the 26th easiest schedule. All right? #26th easiest schedule. Okay? 32 being the easiest, 26 being one of the easiest. Okay? At 26. Justin Fields has a 5-star. Come on, people. Understand what I'm saying here. He may be one I'm targeting. Okay? People going to say I'm crazy. Okay. It's the Jets. Okay. No problem. No problem. I've been doubted before. For no reason, I've been doubted. But I've been doubted before, and you see this behind me? This is just not a prop. This is a real trophy that I won. Real trophy that I won. Been doubted before. Been dismissed before. No, I don't care. Be legendary. Be legendary. I'm trying to tell you this. Put in the work. Look at the numbers. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to fail. You learn from your successes. You learn more from your failures. Okay? Don't just ride with the crowd. I don't ride with the crowd. Okay? I'm a person that make my own mind up and go for it from there. Don't ride with the crowd. Never have, never will. Never have, never will. And hope that you think the same. Think the same. Okay? At number, where are we at now? At number 10. Some people don't like Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers has the easiest schedule in the NFL. And Brock Purdy is last season, Brock Purdy was a quarterback 12. This season, they got him at a quarterback 10, just like I have him right here. And he's got a 4-star. Wait. Don't rush to get a quarterback. He's got a 4-star. And with the weapons that he has, Christian McCaffrey, I got reservations on that one. George Kittle, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk is coming back from a ACL. Ricky Pearsall in a Kyle Shanahan offense. And he's got a strength of schedule, a quarterback strength of schedule, which is a 4. I love Brock Purdy. Pay attention to the numbers. Don't pay attention to the name. Keep telling you that. Keep telling you that. Wait. You can wait on quarterbacks. They're there for the taking. There's so many quarterbacks this year that you can wait. You can afford to wait. Load up on other positions. Trust me when I'm telling you this. I'm trying to give you some help here. You want to make the playoffs? You want to win one of these? A championship. You can't win a championship without getting into the playoffs. I don't care how you do it. Hook or crook. Get into the playoffs. And then make the most of that. Fantasy football is some skill and a lot of luck. Okay? I'll keep saying that till the cows come home. Until I stop playing fantasy football. I'm hated. No problem. Haters going to hate. Okay? That means I'm relevant. That means I'm relevant. Hate on me, that means I'm relevant. Okay? Because you're thinking about me. No problem. Not a problem. And number 9. The mighty midget. I'm sorry. I had to say that, but whatever. I expect big things out of the Arizona Cardinals. I didn't like the way Kyler Murray played last night. Hopefully he improves that. But Kyler Murray has a 4-star strength of schedule. He has a 4-star strength of schedule. I'm expecting big things, surprising. And I've told a few people this. And some of my friends that I've told. I'm expecting big things from Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm expecting big things, or positive, I shouldn't say big things, positive things from Kyler Murray, if he can cut down on his mistakes. Now, the interception he threw was absolutely idiotic. I mean, it was right in front of him. It was obvious the defender was right in front of him, and he threw one right to him. Didn't have to do much, didn't have to exert himself. I'm talking about the defender. to get an interception. But I expect decent things, positive things from Kyler Murray. Okay. Let's move on to number 8. Now he didn't have a good showing last night, but I expect big things from Bo Nix second year. He's one of the most experienced rookies last season, and he improved his play from the beginning of the season toward the end of the season. I expect him to not have a sophomore slump, especially with the likes of Sean Payton coaching him and being a positive influence on a quarterback with a 4-star rating. I can't emphasize this enough. Regardless of what round of you take, whatever quarterback that you take first or second, wait. You can wait on quarterbacks this season. Let whoever wants to take all the quarterbacks above Bo Nix, let them take them. Okay? Build your roster with more than one onesie. Okay? A onesie, now there's two in the 2 quarterback leagues, twosies, but it doesn't make a difference. You don't have your roster depend on quarterback play. You try to get a balanced roster. I'm telling you, try to get a balanced roster with wide receivers, running backs, and a tight end. And all depends if you have IDPs. Okay, IDPs can win you at times, not all the time, a match, a weekly match. Okay, but you can stream IDPs. But you want to build your roster, basic roster, offensive roster, with the best offensive players that you can get, whether it's round 1 or round 8. Okay? You want it, or whatever round. You want to get the best value that you can get. Don't pay attention to ADP, average draft position. Because you can grab a player that average draft position in the 5th round. You can grab him in the 2nd round or the 3rd round. If you want a player and you think that he won't be there in his average draft position, jump ahead. Jump ahead. That's all I can say. Okay? Every draft has its surprises. Every draft is not the same. Never the same. You can do, and I suggest you do a lot of mock drafts. But every draft is not the same. You get an idea, a rough idea, because you're drafting, if you do mock draft, you're drafting with different people. Get an idea of different players that are going either early or late. But every draft position is different. I mean, every draft is different. I'm sorry about that. Number 7. Okay. Baker Mayfield. He's got a little harder schedule. His schedule's below average at a 2. But that offense is a clicking offense with weapons. Mike Evans, 1,000-yard receiver every year he's been in the league. Chris Godwin when he's healthy. Mbuka, which is going to be a surprise this year. Bucky Irving. Rashid White. I'm just saying. Cade Otton. That offense. They're keeping that same offensive philosophy because Baker thrives in that, even though the Liam Cohn, who went to the Jaguars, who was the offensive coordinator for Baker Mayfield with Tampa Bay last season, they're going to keep that same offensive philosophy because of what Baker can do in that philosophy, in that scheme. Okay? This may be another instance where, even though the schedule, overall schedule, isn't favorable, that Baker can cook in his schedule. Okay? I'm just saying. Just saying. And then we go to number 8. Patty Mahomes. He's not the fantasy quarterback that he was prior to this. Everybody jumped on Pat Mahomes because of the name. I understand that. At one particular time, Pat Mahomes had the worst statistical year he had last season. Pat Mahomes was last season was a quarterback 10. Okay. People are saying he's going to be a quarterback 6 this season. His strength of schedule is the 14th. And he's got a 3-star, which is average, but it's Patty Mahomes. So you got to weigh it. You got to weigh it. Somebody going to take Patty Mahomes early? Yes, because he's Patty Mahomes, or it's Patrick Mahomes the second. I'm sorry, shouldn't say Patty. He's Patrick Mahomes. They're going to take him, okay? Which is okay. Everybody's got their choice of who they want on their squad. I've stopped criticizing people for taking somebody I think, in my opinion, is too early. I've stopped that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, you want Pat Mahomes in the second round, third round? No problem. Take him. That's how you feel. And you'll see, and roll with that and see how it comes out. That's all you can do. Okay? That's your team. And that's what you want to do. Okay? This is the same way I think about number 5. Number 5. They say Joe Burrow is going to have a breakout year, or even better than he had last year. Well, Joe Burrow's got the strength of schedule is 31st, almost the worst strength of schedule for a quarterback. He was quarterback 3 last season, and most people are looking at him at the quarterback 5. Okay. High-powered offense, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, Mike Gesicki, okay? Joe Burrow. Is he going to offset that 31st strength of schedule? You take him, and he's got a 2-star. Are you going to be disappointed, or are you going to be elated if you took Joe Burrow early? Because you got to take him early. Most people in one quarterback league take Joe Burrow early. Definitely in the quarterback league, 2 quarterback league, they're going to take him early. Okay. I'm surprised if he drops to the 4th round. I'll be really surprised. 2nd and 3rd round, that's where I see Joe Burrow in a 2 quarterback league. That's how I see him. Okay. But he's got a 2 rating. He's got one of the worst strength of schedules for a quarterback. Is that offense going to click, or is it going to be a dud? You got to make that decision. I'm not taking Joe Burrow early. I tell you that right now. No way, no how. Then you got Jalen Hurts at number 4. Okay. With an average. Great offensive line. Great running back. Great wide receivers. And a great tight end. A good tight end, I should say. Great offensive scheme that won them a Super Bowl last season, along with their defense. That puts them in more situations to score. But I'm waiting on quarterbacks. Somebody's going to want to take Jalen Hurts early. God bless him. Okay. The rest of these quarterbacks, you see, Jaden Daniels. Somebody wants him bad. Okay? Somebody wants him bad, and he's got a 2-star. He's got a below average. Okay? So it gets a little bit tougher. Even though the offense was pretty high scoring last season, it's getting a little bit tougher. Is he going to have a sophomore slump with a tougher schedule? Okay? Is he going to have a sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud with a tougher schedule? Okay. He's got number 2. He's got a 2-star. That means it's below average. That means his 26 strength of schedule for a quarterback. For the quarterback, not the team, for the quarterback position. All these from 25, from 24 all the way up to 1 is strictly on the quarterback position, not the strength of schedule for the team. That makes a difference, okay? The team may have a easiest or worse strength of schedule, but the quarterback position, the defense that they're going up against, is a negative or a positive or average, okay? Jaden Daniels, it's a tougher schedule, okay, than most. 2-star. And number 2, Lamar Jackson. 21st strength of schedule for a quarterback position. One of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL, okay? He's a runner. Very strong runner. One of the best running quarterbacks in the league. Okay. Notice that 1 and 2, and we'll get to 1. 1 and 2 were in the running for the MVP last season. Notice that. Okay. They were running in the running. 1 and 2. Wound up 1 and 2. In the MVP voting. Notice that. Lamar Jackson's got a 3 in average, which is advantageous for the type of offense they run. They run a lot with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Hell of a tandem. Regular season, they are one of the teams to beat and one of the offenses to have the toughest time with because they like to pound the football and they have a good defense with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Not so much in the playoffs. I'm not talking about the fantasy football playoffs. I'm talking about real NFL playoffs. But Lamar Jackson is number 2. And at number 1, now get this. This may be an exception to the rule. Okay. The reason being is Josh Allen has a 4-star rating. The strength of schedule. A 4-star rating is strength of schedule. 10th strength of schedule according to fantasy football. Okay. And the team, let me show you right here. And let me do this. I'm going to slow it down for you. And I'm going to do this. The team has the 23rd easiest schedule in the NFL. Okay? If anything, if any quarterback was to be taken early, it would be Josh Allen. It would be Josh Allen. And I know I told you that I will wait. This may be the exception. To take Josh Allen. He's got one of the best schedules in the quarterback position and one of the easiest schedules overall in fantasy football for his team. That's a hell of a combination. A hell of a combination. Okay? I'm just saying. All right? There's always an exception to the rule, and this one may be it. All right? Okay? So, people, to wrap it up is this. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Do your research on the quarterback position and decide whether you want to take a quarterback early or wait and take a quarterback late, either by the strength of schedule in that position or the strength of schedule for the whole team. Me, I'm going by the strength of schedule in that position. Okay? That's how I'm going to roll. I'm going to wait. I've always, well, I can't say I've always, but I've learned to wait to grab a quarterback or two. So without being said, I appreciate you listening to me. And I'll catch you next week when we talk about wide receivers. We'll talk about wide receivers next week. Okay? 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday morning. I'm going to be here for the rest of the fantasy football season and then some. Okay? At 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll catch me here. All right? With that being said, I'm For No Reason, neighborhood champion, and we're out. See ya.